that journey is so hard for a lot of Black men to do because it requires stuff like this, being vulnerable, being transparent on stuff that we have been through and not just throwing it to the side, not just coping with it,
And
not
that's what
just,
I've been doing for so
yeah.
long, bro.
Hmm.
Like I just started learning how to talk about my feelings,
Hmm.
probably like in February. Like,
Mm.
Everybody, now everybody, come here, one time.
Yo, 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 what's going on, y'all? We got the fifth episode of Living with Lijah here. Me and my boy Mikey,
what's the
we just
deal?
gonna be chopping it up, talking, conversating, seeing where we been at, seeing how life is going. So, Mikey, you can introduce yourself.
My name is Mikey. I'm a junior this year at Central. My major is athletic training with a pre-physical therapy track. And my dream job, I want to be a physical therapist for the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, sir.
Cowboy, cowboy. But Mikey, yeah, just give a little backstory on, where you come from, your childhood, just growing up.
I come from, well, I was born in Flint, but I was raised in Grand Blanc most of my life, which is the suburbs of Flint. And I grew up in a pretty stable home for the most part. I'm the youngest of, I was the youngest of six for a long time. And then back in 2020, I found out that I was the youngest of seven, found out I had a long lost brother. And um but I only grew up with like my sister Audra, and I'm real tight with her, and I just got closer with most of my siblings like 4 or 5 years ago. So, um, yeah, I mean my childhood was good though for the most part.
So,
Has troubles and things like that,
yeah,
but
yeah,
just come with it.
I feel
I
that.
wouldn't, I wouldn't, I would go do it again the same.
Mm. It all make you a part of who you is. Hey,
Uh,
exactly. Uh, yeah, Mikey. We're both just getting out of our sophomore year, heading into junior year. We both part of Impact. You can see on his T-shirt. We gonna
Come on now,
represent.
come
We
on now.
got our program coming up in a couple weeks, so we excited for that. But how has the college experience been for you since you've been here? Your first 2 years you just finished. Like, what has that been like?
Man, it's been a roller coaster,
You
boy.
tell me.
Roller coaster, like it's crazy. My whole freshman year, like it was my first time away from home. But I feel like once I graduated, like that timer went off. Like it was
Mhm.
time to leave the house.
Right.
Like it was just time for me to get out of there. It was just a lot of stuff going on. So came here, Impact really helped me a lot,
Yeah,
make
yeah.
new connections and stuff. But I was, I would say that my freshman year of college was the most introverted I've ever been in my life. It's crazy. Most people that I'm around, I'm a very hyper active type of person. So nobody would like think that, I was an introvert my freshman year, but I
You
didn't
wasn't
make
nowhere,
yeah, I
boy.
wasn't nowhere like
Dorm.
yeah, I was in my dorm, like I didn't eat in the calf. I was eating pizza rolls every single day.
Hell
Like
no.
I don't know, I was just like I was so scared of the new environment. I was so scared of people.
Yeah.
So yeah, my whole freshman year, like it was like that. And then I was in a relationship at that time, so I'll just be going back and forth and stuff like that. But at the towards the end of my freshman year, that's when I started coming outside, getting involved in different things. I made a promise to myself that my sophomore year that I would be locked in with school
Alright.
and I would make a name for myself because I know I can make an impact. No pun
Alright.
intended,
No
but like
fun.
I can make an impact up here. So when the program started last year, when Impact started last year, I was just me.
Man,
That's
what
all
a
I.
time to be
Yeah,
alive.
that's the only person I know who to be is me. So it's like
Right.
I was living in the moment, and then joined like Black Males Rock. I think that was probably my first org I joined, Flintstone Federation. Like I'm joining all these things in these leadership positions. And I just made a lot of connections this year. And I gained the confidence to create a org. My org is called Fuse, and
So
it's just to bring unity to everybody. So like Fuse stands for family, unity, self-esteem, and empowerment, and just to bring all walks of life together through, like a lot of people like competitive stuff. I love competitive stuff. So
right.
like sports or like things competitive, like talks like this and things like that. So I feel like this year was a success in that area. So
What
it's
you say, Fuse stand for again?
family, unity, self-esteem, and empowerment.
Unity, self-esteem, and empowerment.
Yes, sir.
I know me, like when I get into my creativity, like a creative mode, or I start creating an org, or put heads together with people, it's usually because the thing I'm creating is like a reflection of what I believe for myself. Like I want to create something that's going reflect, something I'm struggling with,
Yeah.
something I'm dealing with, and that's gonna help me overcome it. Is that kind of what Fuse is like?
Yeah, it took a lot to create that word.
Right.
A lot of yeah, this my sophomore year was rough. It
Mhm.
was rough. Like, I mean, you want me to get into that or
Oh yeah,
all right, well,
let's dive into it.
um beginning of my sophomore year, I got out of my 3-year relationship.
Mm.
Um, it hurt, but yeah, I got out of that. And 2 months later, I got into a car accident.
Yeah,
So uh I got into a car accident up here in Mount Pleasant, and that last summer I didn't have any insurance because my transmission died out in my car. So when I got my car fixed, my dad forgot to put the transmission. I mean, put me back on the insurance. So I got into an accident. Yeah, they tried to lock me up here over that. I was in and out of court from October to December. Like they wanted me to go to court like December 23rd, like 2 days before Christmas. It's
yeah, I
crazy.
remember
Like
that time.
it was like that was probably like the darkest part of my life, I'd say. Because I never experienced nothing like that. I mean, yeah, it was I wouldn't wish that on nobody. It's just like I remember people, I'll go to OBU practice, it's our fashion show up here. People was like I had left court and came straight there because I didn't want to miss any practices. People saying I was looking pale and all types of stuff. So it's like, yeah, it's just like that was real bad. And then and it's just stuff kept building on. And then my long lost brother, he was started doing a lot of wild stuff, man. Uh yeah, it's just like I don't really know how to I didn't know how to like control how I was feeling. So, it was just a lot. It was a lot for me. It was
How'd
bad.
you overcome it?
The people around me, because I'm a male in this generation, so I feel
Right.
like I can't really express my feelings, even though people say you can. I
Yeah,
mean, my past
definitely not.
relationships,
It's not socially accepted.
it's not.
Like as much
And
as they say, actions speak volumes.
actions did speak louder the words to me because my past relationships, I won't say no names, but one of them, two of them backdoored me. Oh, so one of them backdoored me. The one I told about my first relationship,
Mm.
like I, vented to her and everything. She backdoored me, and then my next relationship said she could have up and left me like everybody else did.
Wow.
Like yeah, so like I don't after sophomore year of high school, yeah, I stopped venting. I stopped
Mm.
talking to people for real. I just kept to myself, held everything in, and I tried to find different ways to deal with it. So like a lot of people come to me for advice, and that I'm pretty good at giving advice. I feel like
Yeah.
so I would help them out because they'll like take the stress off me for real.
Mm.
So
Yeah, it's like if I'm fixing you, it take off for what I gotta fix for myself.
yeah,
That's what I notice sometimes because I always wanna, like I was talking about in the last episode, I always want to be the fixer. Like I always want to have a solution to everybody's problem,
man,
but that's because I don't got a solution to mine,
yeah,
and that's something I'm trying to grow from and take that take that energy I'm putting into everybody else and revert that back to myself because not everybody is worth it and not everybody appreciates it if we being honest. Like no matter how pure your love is, no matter how pure your heart is, like
that's a fact.
people gonna smack you in the face with it. And that's just reality and it's sad, but at the same time, it's you can't always play the victim because you the one giving the love out. You the one giving it. And you can only play the victim in so many scenarios of how you're getting hurt. If you want to grow, you gotta at some point you gotta take accountability. And that's what I'm learning. Like you said, like this, I think it's really the people you surround yourself with that gets you out of those hard times because like these past few months, this past year, like this whole year really has been so hard for me in going through cycles of losing myself and losing my worth and feeling so unworthy of love, of time, of attention and stuff, of loyalty, of respect and stuff like that. But I spent all my energy trying to put my love into people who didn't deserve it, that I lost people who did, and I spent so much time looking for conditional love. I lost sight of those who unconditionally loved me. And when I did find myself at that low point, I had a lot of apologies to do because I put a lot of things above these people when they deserve my time.
But as a man, that's respectable to take
Mhm.
accountability, because a lot of people will try to, make excuses,
Yeah,
or, just try to, like play victim.
right.
And like, like taking accountability, that's, I don't know, for me, that's a trait.
That's the
Like
biggest thing.
you gotta have
And
that.
all of my
Yeah, and
friends.
all of my friends, the people I surround myself around, you got like,
Yeah,
we all are have an understanding of taking accountability, because like, why not? Like,
yeah.
you gotta own up to
I
that.
can't surround myself with people who can't, and it's that, and also people who lack empathy. If
Man,
you hurting me doesn't hurt you, then you cannot surround. Then I
man.
cannot surround myself with
I
you.
had friends in the past that did me so wrong, but like when I
Yeah,
did,
and they act like nothing happened. Like
like
no,
if they asked me for a ride to go get a haircut or something like that, I was that guy to take them. But like when I said no and they missed their cut, like
right?
they make me feel like I was the bad person.
Yeah.
And
When you
like
start putting
doing that
yourself
out of the kindness
first,
of my heart, which is why I don't got a car today. You know? So
it's like they draining you of everything, and then you're the reason why they draining you. Like it don't make sense. But yeah, speaking on, if you want to go into depth about like relationships, you said you've been in three now.
I've been in a lot. I ain't
Okay.
gonna. I've been.
Been in a
I've
lot.
been. I'm a lover boy, man. I'm a lover boy for real. But I've
TLD.
been in relationships seriously like since kindergarten. Like
Dang,
yeah,
boy,
like I've
you
been in
was
like
pimping.
yeah, like. But like if like we count in high school, like I say three,
Okay.
four.
Mhm.
High school to now.
What have you like? What's one of the biggest lessons you learned through all your relationships, and what you gonna take forward into your next one?
Like in all my relationships, I gave my all, even when it wasn't, like even
Appreciate it.
appreciated. It wasn't appreciated. I gave my all, and I got to give credit to myself,
Yeah,
and I also can't lose my heart and lose
right.
myself trying to love someone else, because once you lose yourself, it's hard to find that again.
No,
It's a lot of dark times. It's a lot of second guessing yourself, and like I don't like feeling like that.
no,
And I know who I am today, and I know the type of person I can be, and who I'm going to be. And like I'm only gonna get better.
right.
So like you just gotta keep you can't lose yourself. That's really the main thing. Like you gotta love yourself to love other people,
That's true.
especially if you're trying to get in a relationship, tie to knot, things like that. And people tend to lose themselves a lot, but it comes with you gotta communicate in a relationship, take
Be
accountability, like he
vulnerable.
said, be vulnerable, like don't hold anything back, but it's a way to say everything. Like I told you, like women in the past, they said they could have up and left me like everybody else did, but they didn't. That was said like 5 years ago. I know that exact line, and it's stuff like
It's
that sticks with me.
insane.
Like
Yeah,
one of my best
that,
friends from the past, he backdoored me, and I grew up with him since kindergarten. So it's like,
and stuff like that leave wounds, and
yeah,
like we were saying, like you don't want to change your heart, but it's just like you get to a point where you realize, all you giving out to this world is love, peace, and joy, but you getting stabbed again and
and
again.
yeah, I always thought, family wouldn't do that either, but family can be
Yeah,
colder than friends.
right.
Like, one of my siblings, I won't say, he know who he is, but he, tried to match my girl on my ex on Tinder, and
Right.
just I don't know, like it's just crazy. People will treat you like crap, but even when you give your all, so you can't lose yourself in that though. I know the type of person I am. Like I know I'm a giver. I know, like, cause I believe, you do good things, God will give back. And
Right.
and bless you and stuff like that. So, and I'm a big follower of God, so I'm not gonna lose myself. Even if I get hurt 1,000 times, like I'm gonna fall down, but I'm always get back up. That's what
Yeah.
I've came into. That's what I've
That's
come
an
to.
amazing mindset to have because I know so many people who have like, people who have gone through stuff and when they done going through it, like they look nothing like what they were before. Like this event has just changed, changed their life and not in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
their heart is changed, their character, their personality is changed. It's not like their heart is, like the stuff in their heart has just come to the surface. Like their entire viewpoint, perspective of life has shifted just because of how people have treated them. And that's the uncomfortable, that's the place you don't want to be in. But
it's like the sunken place.
exactly,
Real
because
talk.
it's so hard to get out of that. You constantly playing victim, constantly, gaslighting yourself into thinking, you're the problem. That's not where you want to be. And you you have to get to the point where you realize everybody's actions, how people treat you is a reflection of how they feel about themselves. It's nothing about you. Like stop playing the victim and realize you were just the target. Like you just happened to be there. If anybody else happened to be there, they would have been treated the same way. You know what I mean? Like it's not solely about you. Obviously, you do still have stuff to work on, and you got self discovery and self improvement to go on about yourself to not let this happen again. But there's no reason that someone should treat you that way. There's no valid reason to give you that. You know what I mean?
Treat others how you want to be treated. It's a cliche
Yeah,
line, but it's
true.
real. It's
It's
it's a
true.
fact.
It me like relationships, they've probably been, one of my biggest struggles.
Man.
One of my biggest struggles, not just, intimate relationships like friendships and learning how to set those boundaries and love myself first. And that comes like it comes with losing yourself. It comes with losing your worth and being beat down multiple times again and again to get back up and realize that you are worth so much more than being beat down.
Man.
And you are worth so much more than the ways that people have treated you. And that right there is what gets me out of bed every morning. That right there is like, that's my motivation to keep going and to take every step forward because I don't want to become like the people who have hurt me. Like that's one of my biggest fears
Man.
because I don't ever want to inflict that same pain on somebody else. Like I felt that and I don't wish that on anybody, regardless of how it made me feel. So like that's one of the biggest vendettas I have to improve myself so that I never hurt anybody like that. Because it's so many like evil spirits in this world and
Man.
like you don't want to become one of them.
Nah, you don't.
You don't want to become one of
You
them.
don't. And I don't know. It'd be crazy. It's crazy. People will do you so bold when you do nothing but show them love.
Man,
You might lose yourself in that. You might think you were the problem, like you said, and
yeah.
stuff like that. But once you get yourself back, once you get your heart back, my dad always told me, like, especially in relationships and friendships and stuff like that, once you get your heart back, like, it's gonna be a scary thing, not for them, but like just your self development, like you gonna grow.
Yeah.
You go grow in a lot of ways, and you gonna know what you want and what you don't
Right.
want in a friend, in a
Exactly.
relationship, whatever the case may be. So, just you might lose your heart. Like, my one thing my parents always told me is like they can protect me from a lot of things, but one thing they can't protect me from is heartbreak.
Yeah.
So
Nobody can.
yeah, like you can't stop. That's a feeling that nobody really wants to feel.
Yeah.
It feel like, just you in a corner and can't get out. Like it's bad. But once you get your heart back, because it will happen
I
with
promise
time.
you.
Time
Yeah.
heals. That's what Rod Wave said.
Rod ain't never
Rod
lied.
ain't never lied.
Rod ain't never
Rod, y'all might think he's sad, but he be talking. Time does heal.
lied.
Time
Yeah.
heals all wounds. And so like just keep faith. Just keep the faith in whatever y'all got going on. So
You gotta put one foot in front of the other.
Got to.
I was just saying, like, regardless of how you feel, because God is fighting so many battles that we don't even see.
I see you post that on Instagram.
Yeah,
too.
he fighting so much stuff we don't even see. Like it's hard because when people hurt you, I think, one of the biggest things for me is my ego be coming up. That pride be talking like I be realizing I could really, end this person right now. I could really get back, like get back for sure, and like it would be over. Like you never hear a word from them again.
Oh God.
But like I be realizing that would only be disturbing my peace. That would only that would feel good in the moment, but like years to come, like I would look back and that's gonna hinder me from growth. That's gonna hinder me from success, and you have to realize looking back and looking back on what passed and looking back on the people who have hurt you, that's only hurting you, nobody else, because they don't care. They was just there for the season. They took what they wanted and they left. Like at the end of the day, you got to heal yourself, and like an apology, a little them telling you why they hurt you, why they treated you this way, none of that is gonna help you. I promise you, none of that. Because you still gotta do the inner work yourself. And it's hard because like I said, like that ego, I feel it coming to the surface so many times, like of the day, and that mug be talking to me, bro. Like
Man, I know
it
exactly
get
how you
evil
feel.
because it's like let the what is it, angel on your right shoulder, devil on your left. Like that devil be talking loud sometimes, bro.
Man, I get it. I've been in so many, situations like that where I was like, dang, I could really just
Like, man,
all I gotta do is just one thing
I'm
and you
saying,
over it. You finished. Like you don't have to move. But no, yeah, I'm in a mindset now, like it's not worth it. Like,
yeah,
and plus me and you, like on this campus, we're in positions where we can't really mess that up. And
right,
it's not worth it. It's not worth it
yeah,
to ruin your motion just cause, like your girl or your ex-girlfriend or ex-friend on some petty stuff or whatever. Like you
yeah,
can't stop that. People are always gonna have something to say about you. And I try to look at that as like, if they're not talking about you, you're not doing nothing. So it's
right.
like you must be doing something right. And so just
Yeah, and they already ruined enough of your life and like took everything that they did. So like, don't let them take no more. Don't let them take no more than they already did. Like you just giving them the power, like you said. Like they only treat you the way you allow them to treat you. Like they only have the power that you give them over you. You got to keep going, regardless how you feel.
And my mom, she always used to say the best response is no response.
Mm-hmm.
And in most cases that was a fact. And it was that 1%, Nah, like
It get like that,
but yeah,
like I think it's sometimes where you really just have to let somebody know like disrespect can't be tolerated.
yeah.
Like
See,
in this space.
I'm glad you said that because like growing up, I was always a short, small dude trying to like play like football, all these different
Hell yeah.
things, and like have all these different friends, different relationships. Everybody used to walk over me because I just didn't have. I'm not the person I am today. Like I don't know, and I always tell myself like one thing I owe myself is respect. So like
Right.
you don't gotta like me. You can hate me. You can think I'm the scum on your shoe, but like one thing you will do is respect me as a person. That's a fact.
That's one thing I'm learning in this season, like self-respect for myself, because like you said, I feel the past 19 years I was kind of like just a doormat for everybody. Like they say nice guys finish last, but I don't think they necessarily do. I think society has deemed nice guys as people who lack boundaries and tend to put everyone before themselves. And as a person, if you put yourself last, you will finish last, regardless if you nice or not. Like nice people have for some reason been miscued and said as these people who just give every person, everyone in their life what they want, what they desire from them. But when that nice person starts to set boundaries, starts to put themselves first and do what they should do, society deems them as meaner, like less nice. And I'm realizing, the boundaries that have to be set in order to protect me, in order to protect my peace, my self-respect, in order to protect the beautiful gifts that God have granted me over these 19, 20 years. I have to protect that because I've realized nobody else is going to do that for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I shout out to Dr. Renee Shingle. One thing when I meet with her, she always tells me nobody's got you like you got you. It's a sign. It's something like that. I don't know if that's verbatim, but it's a sign in her office that says that. And I really took that because I'm this nice person for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm there for everybody. You need a ride, I got you.
Right.
Don't even worry about the gas. Don't worry about nothing.
Yeah.
I figure that out. Like it was never reciprocated. Like when I lost my car, like because my alternator died, and man, that junk hurt. But when I lost my car, I was there for all these people, and it's not reciprocated. So, nobody's got you like you
That's a
got you.
hard feeling. Like,
Yeah.
that's a very hard feeling when you protect so many people, or like you there for so many people and they not there for you. Like, it make you feel alone and make you feel so isolated.
Yeah.
Like you the problem, like we were saying, you the problem. Like, what am I doing wrong? And I've realized it's not the love that you giving out. There's nothing wrong with the love that you giving out. It's just the people you giving it to sometimes. Like, there's nothing wrong with being there for somebody and constantly checking up on them, letting them know you appreciate them. But sometimes we just gotta redirect that to another person, and that other person may be ourselves. It may be us we need to appreciate. It may be us we need to check up on daily. It may be us that we really need to value and realize that you are the most important person to you in the world. Like, you have to be
You
who you were destined to be, who you were put on this planet to be. You got to be the most important person in your life. You got to be the main character of your story.
man,
You have to.
that is a fact. No lies right
It's
there.
a fact. It is a fact.
No lies right there.
Mikey, what do you think is one of the biggest challenges you have faced? Was it the car situation, or like anything growing up that kind of just you had to overcome, like any childhood trauma or just a really big event in your life?
Um, I'm gonna give you two. I'll give you two. Yeah, this car situation back in October, just like seeing how the system would treat a black man, and
For yourself.
yeah, like it
Ain't
just
nothing
wasn't a
like
good feeling,
experience.
and I don't know, like that was it was the worst experience I've ever like had, and me going through that, like I'm taking these hard courses. I'm taking anatomy. I'm taking not physics. I'm taking pre-calculus. I'm taking all these hard classes. Like I'm missing anatomy. I can't miss anatomy. Like once you miss anatomy, you missed out on like 100 body parts. Like it's bad. I had to miss anatomy to go to court. Like and if I didn't show up, like they was gonna hold me in contempt until my next court date. My next court date was until December. Like, and this is October at the time. And then like I was on the phone with a whole bunch of different people leading up to that date and talking about because they wanted me to get fingerprints put in the system. I'm like, for what? Like, I'm not. I don't want to put my fingerprint in the system.
Yeah.
I'm a black man. Like I'm not trying to do that because I don't have anything on my record. But that was like my first like thing, like real thing. So there was like one person said I didn't have to. One person said I did have to. And the last person I talked to said I didn't have to. Went to court. Went to my first court date. Um, they and like there was a lady at the desk. She was like, "Why didn't you get fingerprints?" She was just pressing me like, and I already felt uneasy and uncomfortable, and I was trying to hold myself together. I was like, it was just bad. Went to the courtroom. The magistrate he asked me why didn't I get fingerprints, and I told him that I was told I didn't have to, and he basically said he'll give me two options. I can either go around the corner because the police station was around the corner. I can either go around the corner and get these fingerprints, or I don't have to get fingerprints, but they'll hold me in contempt until my next court date, which was in December. And I'm so overwhelmed and like, yeah, I started like breaking down in there. Like it was a really bad spot for me. I didn't really talk about it. Like I didn't know how to. It was wild. So yeah, like as of like recent, that was probably a dark time. The other one is, yeah, I mean like growing up, like I said, I was close with my sister. But like that was like kind of really it for a while. Like I wouldn't talk to like my other siblings. Like it could be like years on end. And then one of the main reasons that brought us together is the death of my little nephew, Idris. He was 6. I got him, I don't know, yeah, I got him tatted right here. But he had passed away in 2019, and that was the first time. 2019 was the first time in about 7 years that we were all in the same room at the same time. And I don't know, it's just like looking back at it, it kind of did take a toll on me a little bit, just because like I would go like to vacation Bible school with like my one of my brothers, and like be with him for a week in the summer or something like that. But like I never really hung out or had a real deep relationship with all of my other siblings other than my sister Audra. So it's like, yeah, I would say that was another one too.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, man. I know that's rough, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry for your loss. I've experienced loss like that. Like family loss is it's a different type of pain, I feel like, because it's just people you grew up with or people that you was playing around with ever since you was little. That's a hard reality to come to terms with when they can't grow with you no more. That's like it's so hard to grasp and come to terms with that, especially when they got so much life to live. That's a rough place to be in, gripping with that.
Yeah, it was. And then I do have one more. I got one more. Got
So
one
you
more.
done been through some stuff.
Yeah, like yeah. Cause I'm comfortable sharing it now. So it's
Go
like
ahead.
my first relationship of high school. Yeah, it was my first relationship in a like, yeah, like my first real relationship. Like in the earlier, like I said, like I was in a relationship ever since kindergarten. Yeah, but like it wasn't nothing like that. Like it wasn't
Yeah,
nothing crazy like that.
yeah.
But my first relationship in high school, yeah, that was probably the second. Like if I had to rank them, it was a car accident, this situation I'm about to say, and then that third situation. But that the third situation is like lower on the list. That was just the first thing that came to my head. But yeah, with my ex best friend, man, he knew that I had a girl. Um, got close with her. I guess they knew each other in the past. They didn't tell me about it. All my friends, all my boys right now, all my day ones right now was telling me like boom, 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 boom. They doing this, that, and the third. And I'm I'm delusional at the time. I'm in denial. No, they not. I asked both of them. They said no. So
You don't
like
want to believe it
you
for
don't.
yourself.
You don't. And like they were there for me because they knew what was about to happen, which I'm glad they were there for me. And I just was really underappreciated in that relationship. Like I did everything that I could. And then it's crazy for my ex best friend to, come out of nowhere and just, take her up out my hands. I felt it was real bad for me. I felt like I didn't have, like if I was in a relationship, it was just no security at all. I put a wall up. That's when if I get real vulnerable, like back then, I had thoughts. I had crazy thoughts back then, and I'm in a much better place now. Just talking to the mentors that I had, especially coming here. So it's just yeah. I've been through a lot, but I try to just be tunnel vision on my future, and just because I know where I want to be at the end of the day. I don't, my past doesn't define who I am,
Right.
so I don't try to make it like that or make it a big deal or anything. So
No, I get that. I get that. And you like you talk a lot about expressing and coming to people to talk to about what you've been through, because like everything you said on this podcast is very heavy, and that can be hard for a lot of people to, come on a podcast and speak about, but it's not for you because you've you've done the healing, you've done the growth, and you've come to terms with what has happened, and you've seen, what you need to work on for yourself. And um what has that journey looked like? Like, has it been easy to like forgive these people and move on?
Mm, it's been rocky. At the end of the day, as I, talking today, I forgave everybody for everything that they ever done to me. I just, not just for them, but for me, I don't want to carry that weight
Exactly.
around. I'm going to my junior year up here. I'm trying to lock in
Mhm.
because, time's ticking. So
Right.
I gotta get what I need to get done. So, but no, this journey of healing has not been easy, especially this past year.
Right.
Um, I was in my dorm just, by myself in my head and my thoughts, just sitting here like, dang, like, I don't know, imposter syndrome, like, can I even do this? Like,
Right.
and like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Can I really be the person that I want to be?
Right.
And that's when, like, yeah, I just be by myself and I would try to be around people. It just felt like I was faking a smile,
Oh,
and it was just a lot. It was just a lot. And then I just started I just started doing other things to cope. And like, it was just bad, man. It was bad. So
and that healing journey, like, it's not linear. We was talking about it in the last episode with AJ. Sometimes like we fetishize happiness to where we have to be all the way happy. We got to be 100%, when sometimes being 25, being 50, it's just fine. It's just fine where you at. And that journey looks so different for so many people because we're made so differently. So you really can't compare your progress to the next person. Like,
yeah.
I'm I am progressing, so much different than you would progress if you had been through what I would be, if I what
Yeah.
I have been through. We're made so differently, and it's that tunnel vision, like you said. We gotta have tunnel vision on our future, on what we want for ourselves, so we realize, what everybody else is doing, that don't attain to me. Like, I'm so focused on what I gotta do for me. What you doing for you, it don't bother me. It don't, because I'm so focused on where I'm going, what God has set for me, what God has planned for me,
Hmm.
and doing the inner work I need to do for myself to get me to where I want to be. And that journey um that journey is so hard for a lot of black men to do because it requires stuff like this, being vulnerable, being transparent on stuff that we have been through, and not just throwing it to the side, not just coping with it,
And
not
that's what
just,
I've been doing for so
yeah.
long, bro.
Hmm.
Like, I just started learning how to talk about my feelings,
Hmm.
probably like in February. Like,
Hmm.
but before
But you
then,
got there.
yeah, I
That's what
did.
it's
And
about.
yeah, it was a journey. It was a long,
Right.
long process, but you know,
And it makes sense because like everything you said on here, it adds up. Like, you have a reason, you have a just reason to not open up, because people have consistently hurt you, who you have opened up to. Like,
yeah,
you gotta have grace for yourself. And I do for me, because I was never I never the way I grew up, I wasn't taught to be vulnerable. I wasn't taught to be transparent, especially with my parents and my siblings. I wasn't taught to do that stuff with my dad, especially like
man,
as a man. Like,
man,
you're not taught to be emotionally available with your
you
father.
can't,
You can't.
you
If
can't.
you is,
This
if you
world
you
going,
gonna get
this world
man,
gonna chew you up and
it's
spit you
gonna
out.
beat you down. Like, it makes sense. Like, you have to realize the math makes sense. You have every reason to be the way you is right now. You just got to do the work within yourself to, get you to where you want to be.
Like I said, everything I've been through, like, it don't define who I am.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
don't.
I got things to do up here. I got goals that I'm trying to accomplish within this year, like, especially
Mhm.
with my org. It's my baby, you know what I'm saying? But
Oh yeah.
yeah, I got a lot of stuff planned. Trying not to look back, trying to just move forward in life with everything that comes my way, and I'm ready. I feel like the experiences I've been through, prepared me to, like, if something similar comes up, or like if something else like happens, or it might trigger something from the past, like I know how to deal with it now, or handle it now, not hold it in, because I don't hold stuff in no more. I actually call people and be like, "Yo,
Mm,
can I vent?
tight,
Can I vent real
tight.
quick? Like, I don't know how I'm feeling right now." And then, boom. And it's nothing wrong with trying out a therapist either.
Right.
I will say like, for me, my experience, like I made the appointment, showed up, didn't walk in.
Hey, you made that appointment though.
Yeah,
That's a
like
step.
that's a step. And
That's
then
a
now the
step.
next step, it should be me going
Walking
in.
in.
You know what I'm saying? You got to build up to that. But ain't nothing wrong with trying out a therapist either. It doesn't make you lesser than a man.
It
Like,
don't.
especially for the guys, yeah, it doesn't make you lesser than a man, or it doesn't make you weak. Like, and that's what I always thought. Like, I don't want to talk to a random person about my feelings. Like, that's weird. And
Yeah.
I don't talk about my feelings anyway. So
I
um,
just feel like sometimes it's so much easier to talk to a random person than like somebody you
it
know. But
can
that
be.
that varies.
It
It
can be.
depends on what you're talking about
Because
because
there's no sense of biasy. Like,
yeah.
nobody can be biased. Like,
Mhm.
and me, I try, like, when I give advice, I try to stay as neutral as
I
I
try my
can, try my
best.
best. But if you're talking to a random person that doesn't know anything about anything, like, they could talk from their past experiences and things like
Yeah,
that. So it does help.
yeah. Um, like therapy. Just speaking on what you said about that, it's a big thing that a lot of black men need to open up to, and like let this stigma down that being vulnerable is being weak, being emotional is being weak, and like therapy, I think is a great door to open to that journey of finding emotional availability within yourself.
Yeah.
And like we said, like that's a great door, and but you can also do it by yourself. You can
Yeah.
also find it within
And then
yourself.
there's different ways to cope too,
Right, it
like,
is.
my friend said, yeah, said,
Go ahead.
she had told me that, like, she gave me a lot of ways to cope and stuff like that, which helped me out, like writing, or um taking videos of yourself and
Mm,
things like that, just daily updates and stuff like
yeah,
that. And it helps. I
I'm heavy
was
on the videos.
It helps.
I'm
Like,
heavy on the video.
I record myself, like, in the moment or something like that, and I can either save it, or
Mm,
watch it later, then delete it, and then,
right.
or just delete it in that moment. But, like, that's just a way to get it out. You don't want to hold that in. You don't want to bottle it down here,
No.
and then you
And then it come
explode.
out on the wrong person.
Yeah. So, because it's happened, I'm guilty of doing that. Something triggers me from somebody
Yeah, I
that
done
did
did it
nothing
a
to
couple
me.
times, right?
So,
Mm.
just,
And
yeah,
it's not fair to them because they done nothing. They done nothing to deserve this.
they didn't.
Hmm. But yeah, yeah, I was saying that video thing. Like I'm heavy on that. It's so powerful, like to go back and look at those videos and see where you was at.
Yeah.
And journaling, I got a bunch of journals because I've been journaling since I think junior year of high school. And so I just go back through those journals to see, how far I have come. Because junior year, yeah, that summer of junior year going into senior year was one of the darkest times of my life. I had lost two family members and my dog, and um that was so hard for me because it was family members back to back, and then the first family member was also a cousin who was 1 year older than me,
Dang.
and that was like a very rough time of my life because I had no tunnel vision. Like I had nothing to hold on to, nothing to grasp onto for hope of a future, for hope of the future, because I was so caught up in what I had lost. And I I really just it was a very dark time in my life, but also I've noticed in my most darkest times I have found such light. Like like after that was the moment like I started being emotionally available. I started opening up. I started expressing myself. I really started, journaling. I started my mental health journey. I started to learn how to, be empathetic towards people, and uh, did a lot of reading, did a lot of projects on myself, seeing what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be. And in those darkest times of my life, I realized, it's for a reason, because pain is there to teach you. And when I have my back against the wall, nobody but God, I realize I don't need anybody but God. And so I really just turn to him and I watch him do his work.
Because he does.
And that's what I found in this podcast. I've allowed him to do his work, and I'm gonna ride this wave out until he tell me to go on the next thing, on the next journey.
Yeah, me talking today, like, yeah, it really opened my eyes about like just God and stuff like that. He
Yeah.
does mysterious things, and he does work behind closed doors. You don't know what he's doing,
You got no idea.
but so many, like, I will say, so many blessings have came my way, through all the trauma and all the trials and tribulations that I've been through. It's been a lot of blessings that came my way, and I just thank God, every day for it.
Because like we was just saying this the other day, like all things they have this weird way of coming together. You got to see it
You
through.
got to see it through,
You
my
got
boy.
to see it through, my boy. Because
It's
if
crazy.
you don't, like, you gonna miss out on such a blessing, such a lesson that is there to teach you. And like that blessing, that lesson that is there to teach you is for a lifetime. I promise you. Like, you're not gonna forget this one. Because of the pain you're going through right now, I promise you, you're not gonna forget this one.
You're not.
You're not.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Yeah, but I'm glad this episode was able to, help you and, help you be vulnerable, speak on these things.
Yeah.
It's like I've realized myself, this podcast is healing for me too, because as I'm, speaking this stuff out on myself, I'm also affirming myself in everything that I've been through.
See, that I was gonna say something like that. I didn't know what the word
I'm
was,
affirming
but
myself.
yeah, that's what it is. Like,
Yeah.
I'm at peace with a lot of stuff.
Right.
That's really what I've been saying all summer too. Like, a lot of stuff been coming up all summer. Like, but I'm at peace with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So
like it helps you find your voice, kind of, and finding your voice, you help find your identity, find your worth, find yourself, find yourself again. And as I'm, speaking all of this, it's really, this is really a conversation between me and God. Like, y'all just eavesdropping, you know what I mean? Like, I'm venting out to God right now on everything he has put me through and brought me through. Like, I just happen to be reporting. I just happen to have this laptop in front of me, bro. Like, it's so real, because each time I do one of these episodes, I'm just reminded of, how good he is and how good he's been. And, it keeps me going, really. It keeps me going.
God is good.
Because I don't know where I'd be right now.
Me either, bro.
I don't know where I'd be. But yeah, Mikey, just thank you again for hopping on this episode. We're going to wrap it up. If you got anything else you want to say to the people, drop your Instagram or socials or anything.
I'm going to drop my IG, I'm going to drop my socials, but views, we coming hot this year. You know what I'm saying? Stay tuned for the event. Y'all got to be there. Come on, man.
No kizzy.
No kizzy.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you again, Mikey.
No
this will be our 5th episode of Living with Lijah. It's gonna be dropping Friday. Thank y'all again for listening. I hope y'all really enjoyed this one. I was glad to have Mikey on here. We got Impact coming up in a couple of weeks. Our favorite time of the year, man.
Man, this
we gonna do our thing, bro.
Lit this boy.
We gonna do our thing. So all the mentors, if y'all listening, mentees, if you listening, stay tuned. We got an exciting program for y'all.
Mentor coordinators right here, man.
Man, we gonna represent. We gonna represent. Team Resilient on
Come
top.
on now, tenacious. Where y'all at, man? Where y'all at? It's bad.
It's getting bad, bro. But Yeah, so y'all just stay tuned. Another episode coming out next Friday. Once again, thanks for listening.
Yes, sir.